We're only Daf Hey and Beis. This is the fourth quarter of Daf Hey. So the Gemara tells a story here that Reb Chia Bar Abba Cholas. He was very weak and he wasn't feeling well. He's in bed. All the God Reb Yechanan, and Reb Yechanan came to visit him, and he saw that he's suffering. Again, we know that Yisurim are kapara, and it could be Yisurim Sha'ava. So he said to him, Amalei Chavivan Alecha Yisurim. So he says, are you happy with these Yisurim? Are you appreciate these Yisurim? Obviously, the value of the Yisurim, the kapara, and the schar, Amalei Loi, says no. Now maybe it wasn't Sha'ava, maybe it was obviously disturbing his learning or his tefillah. So he says, Lo hein lo schar, I don't want the Yisurim, I want the schar. I want to be able to learn. David, Amalei Havli Yadcha. So he says, okay, give me your hand. So he was able to heal him by taking his hand, and somehow he was able to affect him, and he was healed, and he was able to be released from these Yisurim. The Gemara says a similar story to Yechanan himself. And Reb Chanina similarly came to visit Amalei Chavin Lech and asked him the ssame question. What are you enjoying this Yisurin? Amalei lo hein lo schar, and I don't want this. Amalei havli yadcha yoiv like ukmi. Same story. So effectively, Gemara, well, very strange. Rabbi Yechanan was the person in the previous story that was able to heal. B'kir Ba'abba. So why can't he do that to himself? Right? B'mai lo lukim Rabbi Yechanan l'nafte. Omri, the answer is we have a rule. When a person is already imprisoned, he cannot release himself from the jail. He needs someone to help him get out. Similar story of Rabbi Yechanan. And this Rabbi Yechanan comes again to visit Rabbi Eliezer. He saw that his house was very dark. He's sleeping in this dark house. Gali the Dariv and Nafal Nahir, and he revealed his arm, and Yechanan revealed his arm, and there was tremendous light just from his arm. Chazia, then he saw the Havikabachi Rabbi Eliezer, that Rabbi Eliezer is crying. So again, Rabbi Eliezer is crying, he's weak in his house. He's very weak. Maybe it's the end of his days. And Rabbi Yechanan says, so why are you crying? You didn't learn the Torah that you wanted. It's not always the quantity. It's bilvanshi, it's the kavanah. Shechavim nibu b'shamayim. Mishum zayni. Parnasa lokodem zoich l'shtei shulchanos. Not everyone is zoich to have Torah and to also have a parnasa, a large parnasa, to have parnasa berevich. Not everyone is zoich to what we call two tables, two shulchanos. Yishum bani, children. So I can comfort you there. Look at me. Rabbi Yechanan says, remember, Rabbi Yechanan is the one who suffered the loss of all his children. Dain garment asir bir. This is my 10 children that I lost. Amalei, no. It's not what I'm crying. That's not what I'm crying right now. What I'm crying is something else. It's an interesting idea. He says, Lahai Shufra, this beauty, I mean, he's referring to the beauty of Rabbi Yechanan. The Bali Ba'afra. Rabbi Yechanan had tremendous Hadras Panim. He had exceptional beauty. And this beauty, which will eventually be swallowed by the ground, which will be buried, kabachine. That's what I'm crying. And he said, Amalei Adah Vadi Kabachos. That's something to cry about. Ubachut Avayu. They cry. But in the meantime, are you enjoying the Yisurim? Lo hein v'lo ischarin. I do not want the Yisurim. Amalei Havli Yod Chayav V'Ladu. He was able to heal him from his Yisurim. The Gemara goes on to know the Ma'asafuna Tzikvili Arvami is Doni Dechamne. So the story is Rabbi Yechanan suffered the loss of 400 barrels of wine, a tremendous quantity of wine all the Gabe, Rabbi Yehuda, and Yehuda came to visit him, Achva the Rav, Solo, Chasida. The brother of Chasida, the Rabbanan. In the Rabbanan of Amrulu, and they said to him, Ravana Ba'ava, Rabbanan, they said to him, Amrulay la'ayin mar b'mili. You should, if you suffered such a loss, so much money, you have to know why you suffered the loss. What did you do? You must have done something wrong in your business dealings. What do you suspect me of dishonest business? Well, you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu would do din b'lo dainim? So if somebody thinks they heard something, please let me know. So we heard something. So a person, you have a worker. Now the worker, the way this, it's the sharecropper who gets some type of is entitled to some type of the profits through his work. But in addition, he also is entitled to get a certain amount of leftover produce, or insignificant produce of the property, which is called the shabisha, the leftover branches, like pieces of branches, which we didn't really use for business anyway. This goes to Arisa. So he says, you neglected to give the Arisa the shabisha. So he says, yeah, I think there was a good reason for that. He barely left me anything. He really took much more of that than he was entitled to without even asking. He took a gun of the kula. He almost stole it all. Now apparently there was still something left over. That's why which we're supposed to give him. Which even though he stole some of it and more than he was entitled to, he still was obligated to give him the payment which was agreed upon. Time and time, even after the ganav steals, you'll still taste some geneva. I mean, you can say there's still an aspect of geneva, even though even though technically he took more than he was rightfully deserved. But once you made up to give him something, you should still give it to him. So he says, okay, I'll give it to him. I accept upon myself. So the wine which went bad and turned into vinegar went back and somehow reversed the process and went back to wine. Or more alternatively, that the way he made his money wasn't such an open miracle, but rather the Aika Chala, the value, there was a big demand in the market for vinegar, and the value is Davin b'dmei chamra, and the price of vinegar went up to the price of wine. Tanya, the more goes on, there are two things that disturbed me, Kol Yomai, that I was very concerned about. Number one, Tfilosi Shitehei Lifnei Mitosi. I want to make sure that as soon as I arise in the morning, I want to make sure that I say my tefillah, my bed, meaning when I wake up. Mitosi Shitsuna Bein Sofin Udon. Once you talk about my bed, I want to make sure that the proper direction of my bed is faced in the right direction between the north and the south. And I don't want it east-west because that's where the Shechina is. So I want to make sure my bed is north-south. So what does that mean? So we said the first thing was that tefillah was nemitasi. What does that mean? Mind if nemitasi and nemitasi mamish actually stand in front of my bed? That can't be because I'm Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Temer Rabbi Shimon Levi Minayim Mispal Shalei Yadav Choitzitz Beinoi Lebein Akir. There's a rule. Nothing between the wall and the mispalel should separate. So therefore, it can't be literally in front of the bed. When Chizkiyahu went to daven, he turned panav elakir mispalel. So lo yitem lifnei mitasi. What really means is samoch mitasi, which means as soon as I wake up, right next to my bed, meaning conceptually next to my bed, I daven, which means right after, as soon as I can get up, and as soon as I'm up, I don't occupy myself with anything else. with any business or any other issues, but I go down. And similarly, that my bed should be between the north and the south. If your bed is the right direction, so you can be sure you'll have a school that you have male children, you'll have children that are male. If you to the north, and the stomach will be full, and then you say the woman will get pregnant and will have enough children. Not only it also protect against miscarriages. We find also in the Torah by by Tamar, we find that she carried full pregnancy and with twins in her stomach. When two people go into Tavin, they both go to enter the shul. Now, and one completed his tefillah, and instead of just waiting over there in the shul for his friend, he left. So this disturbed this very well. Especially you have to realize that the Beit Knesset in the time of the Gemara were not necessarily the safest places. They were out of the fields, and therefore this could disturb his friend's tefillah. So it's yotz torfin lo tefillah l'fanav. So we rip up in Shemayim his tefillah in front of him. We rip up in front of him his tefillah, and we say halamancha, because of you, tazoiv oretz, because you went out, the Shechina should leave your friend. The world should leave the world. The Shechina should tistalik in Yisrael. It also causes the Shechina to leave Yisrael. And Tzur is a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that he was uprooted. When you disturb a tefillah, you're disturbing the Shechina itself. But if, on the other hand, if he does what's right, and he's himtim loy mascharoi, what's his schar? Omer Rabbi Yosef Chanina zoiche lebrachos halavu. Shenu ikshafti b'mitzvosi v'ikanar shloim b'tzikosi v'alayam v'ikitchol zarecha v'tzitzei me'ach.